Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Weekday Edit. My name is Ellie, and it is just me today. Arabella was not able to join us, so we're going to be hanging out just us. And I know it was just her last time, so we're kind of switching off. But next time, I'm 99% sure it will be both of us. So I look forward to that. But please say hello in the chat. Let us know where you guys are watching from, or let me know where you're watching from. And please feel free to ask questions as we go along. And yeah, just share your thoughts. I want to hear all about it. Today, we're going to be talking about marketing your business on Pinterest, and I'm going to show you how to use Adobe Express to easily create pins for your Pinterest to market yourself. It's a great tool. I think it's really underutilized by photographers and creatives in general as a marketing tool. And we're going to talk more about why it's a great place to market yourself. But we've seen a lot of success there. We've gotten a lot of clients through there, and I want to share that with you guys so that you guys can also use it as well. So we have a few people joining us already. Cody Bear, Barbara, Alejandro. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. And yeah, like I said, please feel free to jump in the chat and ask questions as we go along. I would love to hear if you guys are using Pinterest now, how you're using it. I know a lot of people use it for inspiration, but are you also marketing yourself there? Let's talk about that. And we can dive into this little deck that I created in Adobe Express. I just kind of want to share a little overview in case you guys aren't. I know most people are familiar with Pinterest, but if you're kind of not super familiar with why it's such a great marketing tool, I wanted to kind of share a few things with you guys. So, first off, why should you market on Pinterest? Pinterest is actually a search engine. I know we kind of think of it as a social media platform, but it's not really what it is. There is a little bit of that. You can interact with people, you can comment on pins and stuff, but for the most part, it's actually a search engine. And it's the third largest search engine globally behind Google and YouTube. And I think technically Google owns YouTube. So I feel like that's kind of like one. So that would make it the second largest. It's also the place that the creatives that you want to hire you go for inspiration. So we have found, we've put our work on Pinterest, and then art directors or social media managers, people that we want to work with, are hanging out on Pinterest, they're looking for inspiration, and they see an image of ours they like, and they might be wanting to add it to their mood board, but they click through and they see our website, and then they reach out to hire us. So it's where if you're a creative, if you're a photographer, a designer, it's where your ideal customer is spending their time. So it's a great way to kind of get yourself in front of them, even just to get on, your pins pinned onto their boards. They might reference back to you at some point and click through. So it's a great place to connect with them. It's also a great place where you can reuse content, which just makes marketing easier, right? We're all trying to figure out this social media world, and it's constantly changing, and it's so hard to keep up with things. What I love about Pinterest is that you can reuse content, and maybe you use it in a slightly different way, a fresher way. Maybe you change the text, change the colors. But you can kind of basically take the same content and pin it over and over and over again. And it's not like Instagram, where if you posted the same 5 photos over and over, like, people would unfollow you. It works on Pinterest. And so you can reuse content, which is always, always great if you're trying to be efficient. And then a few general tips before we dive into actually creating pins. So most people are using Pinterest on their phones. So you want to make sure you're using the right dimensions. Square and horizontal pins are not generally going to perform as well. So if you're working with an image, you want to use a 2x3, so like a 1000 by 1500 pixel ratio. And then for video, I mean, I've done video also 2x3, and it is fine. But videos also works at 9x13, just the same as you would use on Instagram or TikTok, which is great because that means that whatever content you're creating for Instagram and TikTok, if you're posting reels, you can just post those same exact videos on Pinterest without having to do anything, just adding some keywords, and you can repurpose that content, which is great. You also just want to make sure that your images and your text are really high resolution, that your text is legible, and that you just have engaging images, things that kind of stop people scrolling as they're just like going through all these images. You want your content to stand out. You also want to be clear on your goals and your audience. So, one of the main pins I'm going to create today are for photographers who are wanting to learn. We do a lot of education on our business, and I'm going to target towards them. But if you're targeting towards clients, you're going to obviously word things in a different way. Your images might be different. You want to think through who is my target audience and what would they pin? What would they want to click on? And what are your goals? Are you trying to just drive traffic to your site? Are you trying to get people to hire you? Are you trying to get people to buy something? Whatever your goal is, right? That's going to come through in the wording that you're using. And then just make sure that your pins are instructional, right? So we don't want to like just only post pictures. Like pictures are great, pictures do well. You'll see when I show our Pinterest, we've been doing a lot of just posting pictures and like they can do really great. But the best pins are instructional and kind of encourage someone to click through and see what the rest is, what more there is to learn. And then you also want to publish regularly, including a mix of repins and fresh content. So that means that you're repinning other people's work, you're repinning your own work, but you're also making sure that you're including some fresh content in there. So you are uploading new images, new pins regularly as well. And it is better to, then if you guys have questions, I know I'm like dumping a lot of information on you because I want to kind of like just give you a general overview. And make sure that you guys are like set up before we dive into the actual like design. It is better to post spread out versus posting like a bunch of pins all at once. So posting like if you're posting maybe 10 pins in a day, you want to spread those out throughout the day versus like posting them all in 1 hour. And the great thing about Express is that now you can also schedule pins in Adobe Express directly. So we'll get into how to do that, but that's the best way. Obviously, you're not going to hop on Pinterest 10 times a day and upload a pin. That just is not sustainable. We have a question from YouTube. Do the 4x5 compress? So I haven't really had an issue with images compressing on Pinterest. I mean, I think it's always good for any platform to make sure that you're sizing things correctly. If you post a really big image, it is like the platform will compress it a little bit, or it may not even be able to like handle it. But because people are mostly viewing it on their phone, I haven't really seen like a big issue with it. I haven't seen any images that we've posted that have been like turned out looking bad, especially because people are viewing them on such a small screen. I don't think it's too big of a deal. Thank you for the question. And okay, this is my last slide before we get into designing. So we also want to make sure that we are using keywords. Like I said, Pinterest is a search engine. And so using the right keywords in your captions and actually on your boards as well is essential to getting your content in front of the right audience. So when you're making a board on Pinterest, which is a collection of pins, right? If you click into the board and click into edit it, you can add keywords to the description of the board, and you can also add keywords to the title. So you want to make sure that you're putting keywords that people might be searching to come across that collection of pins there. And then when you're uploading a pin, you also want to make sure that you're including keywords there as well. And a great way to do this is just to go onto Pinterest and search, like, say you're a product photographer, just type in product photography and see what suggestions it gives you. The suggestions that it gives you are what other people are searching. So you might find other great keywords to add into your post based off of what Pinterest says its users are searching. And you can do the same thing on Google. You can go into Google, type in like product photography and see what people are searching. And that can give you a great sense of keywords that you should include. And then when you write a pin description, you also just want to keep it simple, write naturally. So don't just type in a bunch of keywords, but put them into paragraphs and sentences. And Pinterest has gone back and forth on hashtags. What I'm seeing right now is just don't use hashtags. It's not necessary. Keywords are enough. You don't need to use hashtags. So they go back and forth, but as of right now, they're saying don't worry about hashtags. And then also just include a call to action. I think that a call to action actually works better. You could put it in both places, but putting it directly on the pin is really nice because a lot of people don't read descriptions, right? So if you have a call to action directly on the pin, that ensures that people are going to actually see it. So, okay. Now that I dumped a lot of information on you, it's so hard when we only have an hour, right? Okay, we have another question. I feel like my short stop motion videos always compress. Do you have recommendations for videos slash GIFs to make sure they look their best? I mean, the thing is that any social media platform is going to slightly compress your videos. It's just how it is, unfortunately. We are going to make a video pin in Express, and I just find that making sure that your artboard is set to the correct dimensions to begin with is going to help. But I don't know. I guess it's hard to say because I haven't seen that as a big issue with our pins that are video. But I'm also not expecting them to look, as awesome as they do off of social media. So I guess my expectations are lower. So yes, but we are gonna talk about making video pins and using images and videos in Adobe Express. So we will get into that. Here is a quick look at our Pinterest. It's also important to note that with Pinterest, it's slow. It's a slow growth. It's a slow process, right? Like these pins were posted recently, so they don't have a lot of traction yet. It's going to take time for them to build up traction. And really all it takes is one person pinning, two people pinning, and the traction will grow. But it takes time. So keep that in mind. This is a slow process. It's not an immediate thing, but it does work. Our website traffic is, I think, like 40% from Pinterest, which is crazy. So it does work. And you can see as you like scroll through, pins that have had a little bit more traction and taken off. These are all still like fairly recent. But I also do have a business account. I recommend if you're a business to get a business account. You can see a lot more analytics and a lot more data, which is really helpful in figuring out what is working with your audience and what is not. Now you can see that we have been posting a lot of a lot of images and video, right? It's not a lot of text. But the pins that we have that have text, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll click into this one. They tend to do better. And so this year, we're kind of working on strategy for all of our social platforms. And I just want to make better choices, even if it takes a little bit longer. And so that's why I'm setting up some templates for myself in Adobe Express that I can duplicate. They're already done for me. I literally just have to drop in new images and change the text, maybe edit the colors a little bit so that when I'm going to create pins, it's really easy and I can add that text that often is more engaging and gets better results, right? We want to I've analyzed our content and seen okay, this is what does best. And I want to really lean into that. I'll also say we have this pin right here, we have our Instagram connected, so it automatically posts to Pinterest. So this is something that I it's probably not going to do that well because it's not really made for Pinterest. But you never know, might as well try and see what does well, right? We're always testing and always trying to figure out what actually does well. Okay, so now let's actually get into designing, you guys. So this is a blog post that we have on our website. It's camera angles and product photography. And we talk about the different angles that you can have, and there's image examples. And my main goal is to drive people to this blog post. I want them to click through. I want them to read this blog post. And maybe they don't know who we are. Maybe they want to learn more about photography. And this is a way for them to kind of just get acquainted with us. It's the first touch point, right? So my target audience would be photographers, and specifically photographers who are just starting out, and even more specifically, just starting out in the product space. I guess this topic could relate to any kind of photography, but we are specifically talking and trying to address product and commercial photographers. So I think kind of narrowing down your audience can be really helpful. Okay, so we're gonna hop over and back into Express. And we are going to go out here. So Express does have a lot of templates already. For example, hard to type because my mic is in my way. Okay. So for example, if I am looking for templates for Pinterest, I can go out here and there are so many templates already ready to go. I could click into them and edit them myself. Let's just see if there's like, maybe we could just play with this one. So I click into it and I say customize template. Yes, Cody Bear says the templates are great. They are. I feel like especially I'm really loving the Reel and TikTok templates lately, which we'll get into. Um, they're so fun. So yeah, I feel like it's a great starting point and it's a great place to kind of just like maybe like get a spark of inspiration and then turn it into something that is your own. So here we go. Okay, and we can look, if I click resize, I can make sure that this is the right size, which this is perfect, 1000 by 1500. That's what we want. And I have saved a bunch of images for this for these pins. And what I'm going to experiment with is I'm going to make a bunch of pins that have image plus text, and then I'm going to do a bunch of pins that are just text. And I kind of want to test and see which one performs better. And then we'll also do some video. So this would obviously be image plus text. So we're going to go ahead and click into this image and we are going to replace it. Now, if you are using Adobe Express and you have a premium account, there are so many images in here. So if you were looking like, let's say I was looking for like an image of a camera or something, I could, use any of these Adobe stock images that are awesome. And you could create, like, if you don't have your own images to use, this is a great way to access the stock content and create awesome pins. But I do have my own images that I want to use. So I am going to upload, let's start with this one. Okay. So I have my image here. I am able to adjust it. If I wanted to, I could add some effects to it. I would be able to even animate it, if I wanted to turn this into a video, but I don't right now. Remove that. And you can see here too, you can also use generative fill. You can erase parts of your image, which is really cool. You can crop it. Okay, this crop tool is so fun because you could crop it into like fun shapes. If you wanted to have like a background behind the image and just crop this into fun shapes, it's great. Okay, so now that we have that, I am going to change the colors and make this look more like my brand, right? Because I want people, when they see this pin, and I'm going to flood Pinterest with our pins, right? And I want people, when they see our pins, to be able to recognize them immediately and to know, like, oh, that is from Weekend Creative. And I want to click through because I trust their resources and I know who they are. We want that brand recognition, right? So I have saved here under my brand, my Weekend Creative brand on Express, all my colors. So they're really easy to add. And let's go with this one. I'm able to change the opacity of this because I want the image to show through a little bit more. So I'm gonna make that so the text stands out, but the image is still showing through. And let's see, let's change our text now. Just making sure, since it's only me, I got to make sure that there's no questions as we go along. Okay, so let's think about what we want the text to say. So I think we could start with something really simple and just say camera angles and product photography. And I'm just going to copy and paste this because it is really hard to type and design at the same time. And I can't even copy and paste and design at the same time. Okay, when I click into the text, I also have my brand fonts here. They also have really fun recommended fonts in Adobe Express. So right now I want to use our brand fonts, but it is kind of fun to play around with these and to see like, oh, that's so pretty, kind of, play with other ones and get other ideas. But for now, we are going to use this brand font and let's see, let's make it a little bit more condensed and we can delete this. Okay. We do have align tools here. So if you want to be able to align, that's great. I want to kind of put it up so it's in the middle of this. And you can see those little pink guides pop up, which is awesome. I want it to be in the middle of my rectangle, and I'm actually going to adjust my rectangle so it fits this text a little better. And then I do think it is helpful to have your brand name or your website directly on the pin as well. Again, just kind of helping with brand recognition. So see if I can type and talk at the same time. Okay, and then I'm going to change this to be another brand font. Let's make it like a little less crazy though. Okay. Perfect. And then I'm going to change the colors of these. So, well, guys, share with me. Do you guys use Pinterest? What are your thoughts on it? Have you had success? Do you like it? Tell me more. I want to hear all about your Pinterest experiences. Okay, I kind of want to add a border to this, but let's see. I'm gonna make it a little thinner just because I want this to stand out a little bit more. There we go. I kind of like that. That's fun. Okay, and then we have our text on there. And okay, so the one thing that we're missing, right, is our call to action. So on something like this, we could say like, click to learn more, click to learn, read more, something like that. Something like that encourages them. If you click through this pin, you're going to learn more about this. So let's do a little option drag here. Cody Bear says, I browse Pinterest sometimes. I've never used it for my own content. Yeah, I feel like it is, honestly, it's been like one of the best marketing tools for us. Which when we first started using it, I was using it for inspiration too, right? And we grew a significant following just by like repinning for inspiration, and then kind of just started repinning our work just for fun. But then we realized like actually we're getting clients from this. We should probably be like utilizing this more. And especially this year, we're going to really utilize it for our shop and for our educational resources, because I feel like we haven't done as good of a job with that. The one thing that can make this easier too is like directly on your website, you can click or you can add a Pinterest extension where there's like a little pin button on your images, and you can just like pin directly from your website, which is awesome. And just to, if you're not trying to promote education or sell resources, but you want to use it just to like promote your services, pins like this are really great, right? And this one has like 44 people have clicked through on this pin. And 4.5 thousand people have seen it, which I will say is like, better than a static image on Instagram a lot of the time, right? And like on Instagram, they're not able to directly click through to our website. Something like this, like posting like, a shoot that you did or a design that you did, and telling people like exactly like your services. And you could even say like, instead of saying new work for authentic ego, you could say something like click through to like hire me, something like that, something along those lines. And just try it and see what comes from it. Like I said, it is a long game. It takes a while. It's not usually like an immediate return on investment, but the great thing is that once you pin something, a lot of times, like if you use the right keywords, and people repin it, it can live on a lot longer than content on any other platform. So, okay, what are we doing? We're putting a call to action. Oops. Click. Oh my gosh, my hand is like wrapping around my mic, guys. So this is why typing is so hard. Okay, click to learn more. Let's just make it simple. I really like writing copy is not my expertise. So if you guys have tips on learning to like write better copy, please send them my way. Let's make this a little bolder. Okay. And center this here. Cool. Okay, so we could very easily, if we wanted to kind of test this pin, we could easily like take this and then download it as an image, and then we could animate some of these elements and then kind of test it as a video pin, which would be really fun. But what I love, we could definitely do that. I also want to show that when you are using Express, what you can do is like I have this design set up for myself. Say it's like doing well and like I want to stick with this design for more of my pins. I could just duplicate this, go in, change the image. Let's try with this one instead. And I'm gonna shrink it down. It like brought it in so big. Hold on. Hold please. Okay. Um, could use this image, and then I could just adjust all of this text. Maybe I would move everything down a little bit because of the placement of the things in this image. Move this down, readjust the text. I have a whole new pin, right? So simple, so easy. Um, and honestly, like such a huge time saver. Once I find something that works, obviously this text color has to change. But if I wanted to go through and pin or post this directly to Pinterest, all that I would have to do is go to share and then click on my little Pinterest here. And I connected my Pinterest account. So once it loads, I'm able to write my caption with my keywords here. So I could write something like learn all about different camera angles in product photography. Um, and then I could even like list the angles that I'm going to talk about in the caption. I could list like improve your product photography skills with like utilizing different camera angles and understand which angles work best for which shots, something like that. And make sure I'm adding lots of keywords in there. And then I would be able to select which board I want this to go to. Guys, we have a lot of boards and we probably need to clean them out and get rid of some of them. In this case, I would probably put this under photography tips. So I'd put it there. There are sections on that board which we need to get rid of, so I'm not going to worry about that. You also, so in addition to a description, you get a pin title. That title is like when you go onto Pinterest, it's kind of like the first thing that people see. So like this is the pin title. So you want to make sure that like most of your keywords are in there and it like attracts people immediately. So you would add that here and then you would put whatever link. So I'd put this blog post link there. I do recommend if you'll be able to see how many clicks something gets on Pinterest. But say you're like, I don't know, posting this in like multiple places. I don't know. I like using a bit.ly so that I can like track the traffic better. Um, so you can definitely create one of those, or you could just link directly to your website and you're able to preview it. And then you could either schedule it or you can publish it now, which, like I've said, I recommend scheduling because you want to space things out. So if you make a bunch of pins, you want to kind of schedule them out and don't have them go all at once. And then if it's similar content like this, I would say schedule it out over multiple days. Like don't have it all go on the same day, even if the timing is spread out. You can see here also, you can actually have multiple frames on your pin. So Pinterest, they've like played around with different types of pins, basically. For a while, were doing story pins. Those became idea pins, which is basically like you upload, like say I had multiple pages for this one pin, I could upload them and it kind of puts it together in a video format for me. There's also video pins and then there's image pins. Pinterest is actually doing away with the idea pin and it's gonna all just be a pin. I don't know if this makes sense, guys. Let me show you. So if I was to create one directly on Pinterest, So I'd go up here, I'd go to create pin. Right now it says create pin and create idea pin. This is going away. So that is what this is, where you could create multiple like frames. But that's like pins that you've saved as an idea pin are not going away. Once they're pinned, and like they're not going to be deleted. But it's a type of pin that it's just going to be like all one type of pin, if that makes sense. So that will go away, and this is going to say just create pin, and it's going to all be within here. I don't know if that makes sense. Feel free to ask more questions about that. But that's why it allows you to upload multiple frames here. Okay. So now that we have this, I kind of want to make one pin that is just text, and then let's also play around a little bit with video and some motion and see what we can do with that. So let's go ahead and just duplicate this one, and we're going to get rid of our beautiful image. So say I wanted to use a template still, I could go over here and like, now I'm looking for templates that are mostly text focused, right? And there's so many, guys. This is my problem, is like when I start looking at templates, like I really shouldn't be allowed to look at templates. Could also do something like this with 2 images. That's kind of fun. But I shouldn't be allowed to look at templates, because then I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many good templates. Like, you know, how do I choose? How do I choose? And I have to keep looking forever and ever and ever. Okay. What is our text? Camera angles and product photography. We could start with this. Let's see. And this is going to add as a page. Okay. Okay. So yeah, Cody Bear says the template rabbit hole is real. It's so real. It's so real. And I always say, like, okay, on streams, like, don't get distracted by the templates. But then I'm like, oh, I want to, like, I love this one. I want to see it. Okay. So we are going to, I don't remember if this is still copied or not. Okay, so that is our text. This is set to dynamic right now, which is why it's kind of making that text really big, which is kind of fun. We have our default, we have dynamic. We could put it into a circle. So cool. Let's play with this. I like that it kind of emphasizes the product there, and we're gonna put it back into our fonts. Which honestly, I don't feel like it looks as good when it's all caps. So let's go with this one. Okay. And honestly, I'm going to put it back into default. And I just feel like it's more legible this way. And that means that we can use our old font, or our like main font. Okay. And the bummer is that the word photography is just like such a big word. It's so long. So for a vertical format, it is kind of funky, but that's okay. We're going to go with it. Okay. So this is, it looks like they used a fill, and then they used actually an icon here to create this texture, which is pretty fun, but it doesn't really go with our brand. So we're going to get rid of that. And let's see, maybe we can find, this is what I'm saying. I start with a template anyway, and then I completely change it, and it's nothing like the original template anyway, but that's okay. It's like a good starting point. Let's look for some design assets, and let's look through our backgrounds. Wow, these ones are free. You guys, these are free. That is so crazy. It's so beautiful. I really like this one, actually. That's like very fun. Ooh. Okay, we're going to click into here. We're going to look through these. Oh my gosh. Okay, here's another rabbit hole that I can just get lost in. I love that. Very fun, very fun. Okay, let's go with this one. This is fun. I feel like it's going to make our text stand out. I know Cody Bear says love the colorful checkers. I do too. They're so fun. Oh, they were in the free ones, huh? That's okay. We're going to stick with this for now. We can always add the checkers in later. Um, Shashu asked, what font is this? So this is called Tangerine. It's from Creative Market. And I was able to, we bought the rights to it. I uploaded it into Adobe Express so that I can access it easily in my brand. But Adobe Express also has like, I mean, all the Adobe fonts are in there and they're awesome. So, highly, highly recommend looking through them and playing around. It's so fun. Okay, so we have this here. I don't want to forget that that is there. So we're just gonna make it a bright color for now, just so we remember it. Okay, so then we are going to play with this. Let's see. Let's put our text into a shape. Wow, Cody already dropped the link to that font for you guys. Thank you so much. That is super helpful. Okay, so I kind of want the text to stand out a little bit more, so I'm gonna drop a shape behind it. No, we're gonna go with this. Okay. And let's bring it down a little bit in size. And I kind of want to space it out a little bit too. Okay. Okay. This is fun. It's going somewhere, going somewhere. We're gonna put it up a little bit. And let's see. We're gonna use a brand color, and then we have to click into the shape to change the shape color. Go with that. And then down here, and actually, you know what, guys? I don't know if I'm loving the shape. Let me know your thoughts on it. Maybe we just go back to like an actual square is so boring though. What do we think? What do we think? What shape do we like? Let's go with just a circle. And drop it down a little bit in size. Okay. Let's put our website here at the very bottom. And then we're gonna put help me with this copy if you have a good idea for like click to read more, click to learn more. What do you guys like? Do you have a better idea? Let's say learn, because I feel like when you say read more, it kind of sounds like you're gonna have to do work, and learning is like you're gonna learn. Okay, we're gonna change this to both of these to our brand fonts. Make this smaller. You do want to make sure that things are legible though, and remember this is going to be a lot smaller on someone's phone, so you don't want to make things too small. And let's see. I like keep wanting to use pink, but it's just not working with our designs. Okay, cool. And I kind of want to put a shape behind this just to kind of make it different. Let's make this shape pink. There we go. Now we can use our pink. Okay. Move this up to give us a little bit more space here. Okay, so I also feel like this design is great. It's fun, right? But it doesn't reference photography at all. And so I kind of want to add something in there that would reference photography so that if they're not fully reading, they at least might see a little camera and recognize like that we're talking about photography. So let's go through. So I'm in icons and I'm searching through. Oh, this little heart one is so cute. Oh, okay. I really like this. I feel like that really connects with what we were talking about. Let's do that. Okay, and I'm going to, and I want this to go onto my circle. See if I can push my circle. No, it doesn't push the circle down. Okay, that's okay. Let's see if I can do it like this. I'm trying to make space on the circle, but it's just making the circle smaller. That's okay. Okay, we will just make our icon a little smaller so that it can fit onto our circle. There we go. Very fun. I feel like this would be fun to test out. Now, you can take this, right? And you could switch out the backgrounds over and over and over again to kind of test like what backgrounds resonate with your audience, what people like, test out different colors, change out the text and do a whole different pin over and over. That's why I love Express. It just makes this so much easier to quickly and easily swap things out, right? All we have to do is go here and go to our elements, go to our backgrounds, and we could super easily change this. It's still searching for camera. Like for example, if we wanted to go back to our checkers, we could super easily change that. And actually, I am gonna keep it like that actually right now because it's really fun. I'm just gonna change this shape color, probably to pink actually, which means that then we have to change this. Okay. Okay, there we go. And a whole new pin, just like that. So, so easy. So now how much time do we have? Like 15 minutes. Let's dive in a little bit into video. So one thing that I have found does pretty well on Pinterest is if you just have like a bunch of different images. So if you don't have a video clip that you can use, and you don't want to use a stock video, you could do just like a series of photos. So let's take a look at templates first to kind of see if there's a good one that we want to use. And honestly, I kind of like the TikTok ones better than the real ones sometimes. Like this is pretty fun. Okay. You can animate your text so easily, which is awesome too. But like this is cool. Okay, let's play with this. And I didn't mean to start a new file. It's not what I wanted. I wanted to add as a page. Okay. And and my habit is to just duplicate a page, even though when I don't need to. Okay, hold on. For my own sanity. Okay. So this is a video template. These assets are already built in there for us. We can easily like add scenes. So for example, what I could do with this is I could literally just add in images and fill this whole frame. You'll notice that I have switched it to be 180 by 1920, which is the same for Instagram and TikTok. So you could easily use this in those places as well. Might as well, right? Like if you're making the content, get the most out of it that you can. Right. And so let's just say I want to have like a bunch of like short images at the end of this. So let's add those. Let's add this one. If you guys have any last questions about Pinterest, feel free to ask as we are going through. Because guys, we're almost out of time. How crazy is that? These streams go by so fast. Make sure that you are subscribed to Adobe Live. The Weekday Edit, we are live every other Wednesday. And we talk a lot about just photography and Arabella does a lot of like really fun retouching. So would love to have you guys join us. So make sure you're subscribed to Adobe Live so that you don't miss any of the awesome free content, guys. The free education on Adobe Live is amazing. Okay, let's see. Let's do one more. I think you guys get the picture. Get the picture, huh? See, it's a picture. Okay. I'm making all of these the same length. Very fun. Okay. And then maybe at the end, I want to do a frame that just is like click for more or learn more. And I could just add my own text, but they also have these like fun little text things. Maybe we'll try this guy. Oops. Didn't mean to add it twice. Okay. Okay. And these are grouped, so I want to ungroup them so that I can make this guy bigger. Guys, are you editing videos on Express? Because if you're not, what are you doing? It is the best. It is awesome. I've been using it so much more and I'm really enjoying it. Okay, let's change this color to be pink and our background color to be that and our text color to be like, look at how quick this is. So awesome. Okay. I'm also able to group these. You can do it over here. I also used Command G. And then I can add a fun little animation to this. Maybe it like tumbles in. We can set the duration and the direction and the rotation. And we could even add a looping animation for when it leaves. So many options. So we're just going to stick with that for now. All right. So let's go back to this. This actually matches our brand colors pretty well. So I'm going to leave that. I really like it. And I love this fun Polaroid effect. So what we need to change is the video or image, and we need to change this text. So let's click into this text. I just double clicked and change it to this. Okay, so we don't have that much space right here. So let's think about what we want this to say. So let's mix it up from like we've been saying camera angles in product photography. Let's mix it up and let's say maybe like photography. I don't know. Let's go caps. It will fit. Okay. I don't know why it's not giving me the option to align this. So we'll do our best on our own. There we go. Okay. Almost spelled it like angels. Cool. Okay, so we have our we have our text and let's change this to be not that one. Let's go here. Okay. And change the color. And do it like this. Cool. Okay, so what is great is that I edited the text, but it still kept the text animation in there. If you want to change the text animation, you can click into it and then go down here to animation, and that shows you the animation that was already in the template. And you can make adjustments as needed there. And you can also change the duration on the timeline right here. You want to make sure that show layer timing is on so that you can change that duration. So let's look at what this looks all together. So fun. Okay, I will say that I do think having the text appear sooner is better because when people are scrolling, right, you have kind of like a limited time to grab their attention. So I'm going to drag this almost to the beginning and perfect. Okay, and then let's grab this text and drag that almost to the beginning as well, but like slightly less. Okay. Perfect. And then I'm going to shorten this whole thing because we want to get to the images, right? Let's play with 2.5 and see what that does. So fun. And we could shorten this as well. You can also add music on Adobe Express, which is awesome. So you can play around with that and add that as well if you wanted. Okay, so I want to do one more. And this one I'm just going to start from scratch. Let's just go ahead and duplicate this since we have our dimensions already. And we're going to delete this. Maybe we'll leave the ending actually. It's kind of fun. Okay. So one thing that I found works really, really well on Pinterest and honestly, all social platforms, I don't know if it's just our audience or what, but people love seeing behind the scenes content. So I can go ahead and upload my own video. And let's see. Are you guys able to hear that? I can hear it in my headphones, so you can probably hear it too. I feel like this one makes sense with the content because we're starting off on the camera, right? Okay, so you can see that it's way, way longer than this little clip that I have. So we're just gonna like crop it down. And I will say it does take a minute to process. And I have had some issue with videos from my iPhone looking weird in Express and having to go and go into Premiere and change the settings and then export them. So that's a whole other thing. Message me on Instagram if you have the same problem. But usually by the time it loads, which does take a second, it is okay. So I do want to include a little bit more. Let's see. I'm sorry if you guys are hearing that. I actually don't know how to mute a track on Express. So if you guys know how to do that, let me know. Okay, so let's see. Oh, that's fun. Watch this through to see. I think it's still loading. But in case it's not, let's just shorten it and get rid of that entirely. That's not what we want. Come on, Express. Okay. So normally I would want to extend this to show the actual scene, but I don't know what is happening here. So we're just gonna pretend like that's not happening and cut that out. Okay, so what I have found works really well is just behind the scenes content and put some text over it that says something really simple like learn about camera angles in product photography, or I feel like I'm saying the same title over and over, or like let's look at how many are in this blog post. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 angles to use in your photo shoots, something like that. Photo shoot is also a great word to use. So we would go and we would add our text. And then, oh my gosh, we're almost out of time. For this, I would probably use a text box behind it, potentially, just to make sure that it's more legible, because you can see like the black is running over, but we can also kind of scan through, and actually it's like kind of showing up pretty well. So that's not too bad. So we got our little video there. With all the glitches and all, I'm gonna have to figure out what is going on. I don't think it's the video's issue. I think it's Express. But yeah, videos like this do super well on Pinterest as well. And honestly, like sometimes even without text is great, or just putting your name on there is great. So There you go. We made so many pins today, you guys, and I'm excited to be able to duplicate these and try out different options. And I would love to hear if you guys test these out, like what works best for you. Share your tips with me. I'm going to be experimenting on our side and trying to see what we can do to continue to grow on this platform. Thank you so much for joining. Like I said, make sure that you tune in every other Wednesday and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any videos. And I'll see you guys in 2 Wednesdays from now. Have a great one.